All right, let's get right into it. We all walk around with this feeling of being a self right, this continuous me that's been there since we were kids. But what is that self really? Today, we're going to try and unpack that huge question using a really interesting framework from Buddhist philosophy, the five aggregates, drawing from the teachings of Fra Ajarntan. Everything really starts with this one simple idea. It sounds so basic, but it's incredibly deep. Just think about it for a second. Anything, and I mean anything that comes into being, whether it's a thought, a feeling, a star in the sky, it has to eventually go out of being. It's a fundamental law of the universe. Okay, so if that universal law is true for everything, well, that has to include us too, which leads to a really mind-bending question. If we arise, we have to cease. So when does that happen? The obvious answer that jumps to mind is, at the end of our lives. But is it really that simple? To really get to the bottom of that question, we need to zoom in, way, way in. The answer isn't found by looking at the whole lifespan, but by looking at what's happening in every single moment. This is what's known as the law of impermanence. And here is the big twist, that ceasing isn't some far-off event. It's happening right now. And right now. And again, right now. The collection of things you call you is in this constant, non-stop flow of arising and passing away, from one moment to the very next. So you might be wondering, well, if that's true, why don't I feel like I'm flickering on and off? And that's a great question. The concept that explains this is called santati. It's a seamless succession. It happens so incredibly fast and so smoothly, the end of one moment is the immediate start of the next. It's this rapid-fire replacement that creates the illusion of one solid, continuous you. This is the key phrase to remember. It's the whole mechanism in a nutshell. It's kind of like watching a movie. A film is just a bunch of still frames, right? But when you play them one after another really fast, you get the illusion of smooth, continuous motion. It's the exact same idea here. For us, the old moment ceases and a totally new one instantly pops up to take its place. So what is this old and new stuff that's constantly swapping out? What are these components? Well, that brings us to the heart of it all, the five aggregates, or in the original Pali language, Khanda 5. Now, it's really important to get this. The five aggregates are not permanent parts of some solid self, not at all. Instead, think of them as the five basic ingredients that come together to cook up any single moment of your conscious experience. They're the building blocks of how we experience reality. So let's break these down. First, you've got form. That's your physical body, the material world, everything you can touch and see. Then there's feeling. This is the raw data of sensation. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or just kind of neutral? After that comes perception. This is the part of your mind that recognizes and sticks a label on things based on memory. Oh, that's a tree, or ouch, this is pain. Then you have mental formations. These are all your reactions, your thoughts, your opinions, your intentions about what's happening. And finally, there's consciousness, which is just the raw, basic awareness that knows all that other stuff is going on. Okay, I know this can feel a little abstract, a little heady, so let's bring it right down to earth with a real-world example, something every single one of us has felt: anger. Let's see how these five aggregates actually work together when we get mad. What we're going to do is watch how one state of being, let's say you're feeling pretty calm, just completely vanishes, and a brand new state, the state of anger, arises to replace it. And you'll see it's not just one thing, it's a whole cascade of changes across all five of these components. Okay, so check this out. First, your form changes. That old, calm body ceases to be. A new body arises. Your face gets flushed, you feel hot, your breathing gets fast and shallow. That's a new form. Instantly, your feeling changes. The old, neutral feeling is gone. A new, really unpleasant, painful feeling arises. Then perception jumps in. It remembers what happened. It identifies the person or the comment that made you mad. Right on its heels, mental formations fire up. The thoughts start spinning stories. I can't believe they said that. How dare they? And finally, your consciousness shifts. It was aware of being calm. Now that's gone. It is now completely aware of this brand new package deal: the hot body, the painful feeling, the memory, and those angry thoughts. The entire system, the entire moment has been replaced. So we've seen the mechanics, right? We see how our experience is put together, moment by moment. But the real magic of this isn't just knowing the how. It's understanding why it matters so much. Because this whole process, it's the key that unlocks one of the most famous ideas in this philosophy, the Four Noble Truths.
And that's a totally fair question to ask. Okay, great. So my experience is just a rapid fire succession of these 5 things arising and ceasing. Why should I care? How does just knowing that actually help me in my day-to-day life?
This is where it all clicks into place. The first noble truth says that life has suffering or stress. Well, why? Because we're made of these 5 aggregates that are always changing, always in flux. The second truth says that suffering has an origin, our ignorance about this fact. We grab onto these changing parts and desperately cling to them as if there's some permanent me. The third truth is the amazing news. If we can see through that ignorance, the suffering can stop. And the fourth truth, the path, tells us how to do it by practicing exactly what we're talking about, by mindfully watching this whole process unfold right here, right now.
So the whole thing really boils down to this. In every single moment, we have a choice. This process of arising and ceasing is going to happen no matter what, but our relationship to it can change literally everything. It's about making a shift from just blindly reacting to what's happening to clearly seeing what's happening.
So look at the 2 roads you can go down. Without mindfulness, which is called avidya or ignorance, we just react on autopilot. The anger comes up, we latch onto it, we become it, we act on it, and that just fuels the next moment of anger. It creates a chain reaction. But with mindfulness, something totally different happens. You just watch it. You see the hot feeling in your body, you see the angry thoughts swirling, but you don't pour gasoline on the fire. You don't feed the story. And because it's not being fueled, the chain breaks. The anger arises, and then it just naturally ceases.
And so we land right back where we began. This isn't some depressing idea, it's just the way things are. Every single experience, the good ones and the bad ones, they're all temporary. The old, painful moment of anger ceases, and a new moment, maybe of peace, maybe of clarity, can arise to take its place. All we have to do is let it. And that really leaves us with a final, powerful question to just sit with. If every single piece of our physical and mental experience is completely fresh and new from one moment to the next, this constant, endless river of arising and ceasing, then what exactly are we all so desperately trying to hold on to?